Don't believe the lies in these scientific studies. It takes about 3 brain cells to realize that men have a competitive advantage when it comes to competing against females. First, we're told it's not happening at all. Then we're told it's happening, but it's not a problem. And then they say that thing that never happens, when it does happen, it's not an issue. See how it works? Today we're going to be talking about some articles I've stumbled upon that were based purely off of scientific research, merit, and not at all funded by radical gender ideology activists, claiming that trans women are actually at a disadvantage when competing against biological women in sports. The research funded by the International Olympic Committee evidently showed transgender female athletes are at a physical disadvantage compared to cisgender women in several key metrics. They essentially took trans women and biological women and compared them in the most BS study I've ever seen. It's just a bunch of out-of-shape trans women who self-reported as taking part in competitive sport or physical training at least 3 times a week. That's important to note. Self-reported. The biological females, however, were in good shape. The study says that trans women performed worse at jumping up and down than biological women. It's important to note the study also says cisgender woman, but I've yet to meet a sane biological woman that is okay with being referred to as cisgender. They then had them all breathe out heavily, and the scores showed that the trans women were at a disadvantage against the biological women. They also excluded some people from the study that were transgender because their testosterone levels were too high, which is just targeting the entire study to have the outcome that you want. They then claimed that there was no difference in the hemoglobin levels and the bone density, which is just not accurate at all. It also claims that trans women do not have a height or weight advantage. I mean, come on. When the average male height is about 5 feet and 7.5 inches and the average female height is about 5'4", that does not just magically change when men decide that they are women. This is a complete joke. They are gaslighting the public not only to believing that this isn't a problem, but that these men are in fact at a disadvantage. This is also just completely ignoring the incredibly obvious safety issues that this imposes. Then the scholars over at Harvard claimed that men competing against women wasn't an issue at all, calling transgender athletes victims in their article, talking about the low participation level of transgender athletes in sports. Then why are these men winning a women's title nearly every time I open up my phone, Harvard? Don't believe the lies in these scientific studies. It takes about 3 brain cells to realize that men have a competitive advantage when it comes to competing against females. First, we're told it's not happening at all. Then we're told it's happening, but it's not a problem. And then they say that thing that never happens, when it does happen, it's not an issue. See how it works?